Declan, before we dig into this game, can we get your thoughts on what you and your teammates did on Saturday, standing? Obviously, we've seen what's happened with Glenn in the last few days, and Scotland have announced that they'll be standing on Thursday in the fight against racism. What was the thinking behind Motherwell's decision to do that on Saturday?
I just think we spoke to a few of the players. They wanted to change something. They obviously felt that the message of taking the knee wasn't working anymore. And obviously they just thought it was a pointless message, and as you can see there's still incidents creeping up in the game, and it's not nice to see. So I think everybody wanted to make it look as a stand, as well as standing united. So all the boys were happy to do that. We spoke to the manager and Aaron Burrows, and they were happy if the players had the explanation for why they wanted to do it, and it was basically just the case of they felt that taking the knee had lost its purpose and that they wanted to do something else now. So we're happy to do that, and obviously I think it's something that we need to keep raising awareness of, because it's something we have to stamp out of the game immediately, and obviously it's just not good enough.
If the international team are doing it on Thursday night, that can raise that awareness even higher, can't it?
Well, definitely, as footballers we've got that world stage, we can show that and we can set that example, and I think that's what we're trying to do on Thursday night, by obviously standing and showing again that we're sticking together, and we're not going to tolerate such things happening, like the likes of things that happened to Kamara. It's not on, and there's no place for it in football, so it has to change.
When it comes to the game itself on Thursday, it's a bit difficult sometimes for us to quantify. It's a World Cup qualifier when the Euros are 3 months away. This is a massive match, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think first and foremost the managers obviously try to tell us that we have to get the Euros out of our head. Obviously we've done well with each there, but the last 2 games we lost in the Nations League. So right now we have to get back onto the winning ways, because we were on a good run there, and then we lost the last 2 games. Obviously there was massive celebrations. We'd reached a tournament for the first time, but now that's all done. We have to put that in the past, and we have to rectify it with this. We want to be a country that goes to national tournaments constantly. We don't want to just be that team that gets it every 23 years. So no, we have to get the Euros to the back of our head, and we have to concentrate fully on this campaign.
As you mentioned, the last 2 games were narrow defeats. Do you think any of the good stuff which you did in the games leading up to that has been lost? Has the momentum been lost, and how easy will that be if that's the case to recover it?
No, I don't think the momentum's lost. I just think obviously something had to give a little bit when you're playing such a massive game. I think obviously you would have probably preferred the Serbia game to be the last one out of the 3, and then the celebrations could have been a bit more enjoyable, but obviously with having the 2 games after that it was hard. But no, at the end of the day I don't think we've lost momentum. We're on a good run, and we just have to pick ourselves up and we go again, starting this game on Thursday.
The players also, without thinking too much about the Euros, but want to make sure that they show the best they can possibly do to make sure they're in that squad.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, definitely. The managers obviously said there's places up for place, so obviously with that in the back of the head, people will be trying their hardest to get into the Euros, but as I said before, we have to put all that to the back of our head and concentrate on this game on Thursday. It's all about now trying to get to the World Cup and the bye and stuff like that, so we can't really we have to put it, although it's hard, we have to put it to the back of our heads and try our best starting on Thursday night.
The manager's always been pretty loyal, hasn't he, to the squad, the players that have done so well for them in the past. Does that create a nice feeling when you all get together again? Does it feel a bit like the kind of club mentality that you always goes on about?
Yeah, the manager stressed that when he first took over. He wanted to build something. He didn't just want to drop and change everything. As you've seen, we went on a good run of form, and he stuck with a main base of players, and I think that's what he likes, to get that team environment, to get everybody together, and when you do meet up, then it feels more comfortable. So I think the manager's shown great loyalty in all our players, and I think it's been justified with the fact that obviously we went on a good spell, we've got to a tournament, and obviously hopefully we continue that.
Austria look like they're going to have all the Bundesliga players involved. Are you looking forward to that challenge now?
Yeah, definitely. We were always focused on them playing their best team. We were never thinking about them playing a weakened team or anything like that. Obviously I think that's been sorted with them now, so they'll be playing a full strength squad, and we'll be fully focused on that, but we'll not just be fully focused on Austria, we'll be fully focused on ourselves. At the end of the day, I think they've went 5 out of 6 games winning, so they're on a good run of form, but so are we previous to the 2 defeats at the end there, so we have to just capture that and hopefully get back on it.
you've obviously started the last few internationals, but because there is, so many centre backs in the squad, you won't be resting on your laurels. You'll be making sure that, at the training you're at the top of your game when there is so much competition.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, when you're playing for your country, you're playing with all the best players at the country. So the fact that there's more competition, it's great. It's great for us. It's great for us as a nation that we've got so many good players available. So no, there's definitely no lesson on the laurels. I know I had a good game the last time, but I have to be at it if I want to play, because obviously Grant Hanley, Jack Henry have been called up. Obviously Grant, captain of Norwich, and the top of the league in the Championship. So no, I'm happy with the competition, and I'll be trying my hardest to make sure I'm in the starting team.
How's that development been from you, going from someone that wasn't getting in squads to over the last few months being one of the regular starters?
It's been a bit of a roller coaster and a wee bit of a dream come true for me, because as I said, I was playing League One about 4 seasons ago, and now I'm playing for my national team, and obviously I'm getting calls up regularly now. But as I said, I won't be resting on my laurels. I'll be pushing as hard as I can, and obviously try to stay in as many squads as I can.
I suppose when you were in League One, the thought of going to a major tournament where your country would have been a million miles off.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously playing at the likes of Airdrie away and stuff like that doesn't compare to playing against Serbia, trying to get your country to a national tournament. So no, it's been unbelievable for me in my career, and I've loved it, and I'm just embracing it as it comes.
How are you fitness-wise, Declan? I think you've only played 30 minutes since January.
Yeah, fitness-wise I'm fine. Obviously I've been on the bench. I got 25 minutes against Hibs and then 5 minutes against Livingston, but I'm as fit as I'll ever be. The manager works at a high tempo. I've done a training session today, so they've seen how fit I am. I'm as fit as I'll ever be. Obviously I played a bounce game against Hearts, got 90 minutes under my belt as well. So yeah, just as I said, I'm fit as I'm ever going to be, and I think the manager realises that by calling me up again.
Just wanted to ask you as well about the kind of back three, back five. The last few games has been yourself, Kieran Tierney and Scott McTominay in a back three. I don't think anyone would have kind of predicted 2 or 3 years ago that would be the defence, but how are you finding it? How do you get on with those two, and what benefits do you have of having an Arsenal player and a Manchester United player either side of you?
Yeah, I think it's been great. Obviously being the middleman, it's perfect for me, because I like to talk. My game's all about talking, and having players like Kieran Tierney and Scott McTominay by your side, it's only going to help you massively. And even having Andy Robertson and Stephen O'Donnell as my 2 fullbacks as well, it's been brilliant to play with, and I think they complement each other quite well. Kieran Tierney and obviously Scott McTominay are very good, both good on the ball, and just keeping those 5-yard passes, giving it to them and letting them deal with it, and I deal with physical presences and everything else, and I think we've just got a good balance here, and I think it's working well.
Yeah, I'm just going back to the taking the stand thing. I'm interested that you're saying that came from the players, not the chief exec, not the manager. That was the players at Motherwell. Was it 1 or 2 players in particular, or how did that all?
Well, Devante Cole came up to me, and he basically just said that a few of the boys wanted to take a stand. I then believed that if they wanted to take a stand, that we have to take a stand together. I don't think it's a fair thing to do that some people take the knee, some people stand. I think whatever we do, we have to show a solidarity, we have to show a togetherness. And I believe what he said was right, and I went and I spoke to the manager, I spoke to Alan Burrows, and they agreed also that if that's the feeling of the boys, then that's what we should do. But yeah, it was Devante Cole that brought it to my attention, and then I was happy to go with what most of the boys wanted to do. We had a wee discussion as a team, and the boys were happy to do that, and we were happy to stand, and hopefully that shows the awareness, and hopefully it sends a message.
And has he given you any feedback on kind of how he feels he's been welcomed at Motherwell in Scotland, and your own sense of where we are as a football nation with this problem?
I think he's loving his time in Scotland. He's scoring goals, he's playing football, and in the day I don't really think he's went through any of this. But to see what's happened to Glenn, it's not nice, and it's not just just players like Devante Cole and stuff like that. It affects everybody, and it's not good enough. And as I said, as a team, we were happy to stand by everybody, and we want to show that to the world, because as I said, we've got that stage to show that to the world, that racism, it's not a good thing, and hatred in itself in football is just not a good thing. And to see obviously Scott Brown at the weekend, obviously you look at the Old Firm fans, you can see a wee bit of hatred creeping in there, but Scott Brown to walk across the park and and show that to Clan Kamara, show that support. It just shows you rivalry aside, this is football and there's no place for racism in it.
I guess now as the national team on the cusp of the first major tournament in well over 20 years, I guess you guys will be well aware of the status of role models that you have for young kids, maybe looking up to, and that's maybe why you're so keen now just to try and hammer this home even more than you had before.
Yeah, definitely. Look, we've got the stage to show it to everybody, and young kids growing up, we want to show them that there's no place in football for racism. It's just not acceptable. There's no place in the world for racism, never mind just football. And that message has to be clear, and it has to be raised, and it has to be raised massively. And action must be taken. We can't just sit here and say, right, we'll all stand on the pitch. Action must be taken as well. It can't just be 22 players standing on a pitch and that makes a difference. Some action has to be took off there as well.
I just go back to what you're saying about showing the manager that you're fit, other things. That these 2 or 3 training sessions really important to show that for you? Is that something that's on your mind that's really got into yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I think somebody told me that I hadn't actually played in like 5 weeks, so obviously in the back of my head I was wondering was I even going to make the call up, but I spoke to the manager at the club. Obviously I spoke to the manager here in Reedy and John, and I've told them that I'm fully fit and I'm prepared, and obviously they're testing me as well. As I said, there's a lot of competition for places, so I have to keep showing out there as much as I can because there's no games now for me to show my match fitness, so it'll just be on the night.